Hello everyone and welcome to a tutorial on how to remove eye bags using the split frequency technique on Photoshop. So without further ado, let's get crack-a-lacking. First thing we're going to want to do is hit Command and J twice, and then we're going to rename these layers, the top one to be texture and the bottom one to be blur. Now with the blur layer selected, we want to go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and we want to give this, I'm going to give this a blur of about 12.0. Just because I can. Then we're going to highlight the texture layer, go to image and apply image. Now what we're going to do here, we're going to select the blending mode subtract, the scale is number 2 and the offset is 128. And where it says layer merged, we're going to select blur, and then we're going to get this pretty textural pattern in the background over here. So we hit OK. And then we go up to here, and then we're going to select the linear light. And if I hold Option and click the background view thing, you should see that there's virtually no difference at all. But if I deselect this one's more blurred. And then here you get more texture. So what split frequency does is that you divide the colors and the texture into two separate layers so that you can edit one without destroying the other. Now, without further ado, what we're going to do, we're going to create a new layer. So we're going to hit Command, Option, Shift, and N. And this new layer is going to be in between the texture and the blur layer. So layer 1. Now what we're going to do, we're going to hit B for the brush tool. We're going to hold down Option again. And you see here, there's a very bright section of her skin as opposed to the eye bag, which is over here. So we're going to select the bright part of this, the bright part of her skin, hit B. We're going to make sure that this is on 30% opacity. And then we're going to make the brush a little bit bigger. And then we're going to start painting on this new layer where her skin is quite dark. And what this just basically does is that this just brightens up the baggy area of her skin. And then when we zoom out, you can pretty much see the difference. But what I'm going to do with this new layer, I'm going to lower the opacity a little bit by maybe about 80%, so that it's just a little bit more realistic and she doesn't look like an alien. So now that that's done, I'm going to hit Command and E to merge that with the blur layer underneath. Now with the texture layer selected, I'm going to hit J, and this should be the healing tool, not the spot healing tool. Now zooming in, I'm going to make this big enough, and what I'm just going to do is that I'm just going to basically remove these textures so that it looks just a little bit less baggy. And I'm just going to do this with random other areas of her skin. If you need to, make the brush just a little bit smaller. And then just get rid of that little patch over there. If you need to, you can clone stamp it as well. Cool. Yep. Still looks a bit dark, doesn't it? Which is fine. So with the blur tool selected, I can hit B again. Select a bright layer and then just paint it over. Yeah, I think that looks good. Cool. Now we're going to go to do the other one now. So we're going to create a new layer again. Select the bright section of her cheek over here. Press B. And then we're just going to paint it where it's dark. Maybe just a little bit over here as well. Cool. Looks good enough. Going to merge that, Command and E. And then with the texture layer selected, we're going to hit J again. And then we're just going to blend these textures together a little bit. And make sure your screen is clean as you do this as well, because I've just realized mine isn't very clean and it's quite confusing to see what's actually in the picture and what isn't. That is a result of carelessness. Don't do it. Just going to go back here again. Okay, now if we see the difference between before and after, just hold down Option and click the eye in the background layer. You can see it makes a significant difference. And that pretty much concludes my tutorial on how to remove eye bags in a picture using the split frequency tool on Photoshop. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day.